Hello, it's Angelina here, tuning in from Argentina, and today we're going to talk about visiting the Perito Moreno Glacier at Los Glaciares National Park. I think that the Perito Moreno Glacier is a definite must when visiting Patagonia. It's not super remote or too off the beaten path like other parts of Patagonia, so expect to be around other groups of people. This is because Perito Moreno is one of the most accessible glaciers in the world, which makes it great for people of all ages to come and visit. Don't let the crowds deter you. I think it's still totally worth it to come. This was the first stop I made when I arrived in Argentina, and it was a perfect intro and ease into the more isolated destinations I visited later on. So stay tuned for more videos on those. But for now, here are 5 tips to consider when visiting the Perito Moreno Glacier. Tip number 1, book transportation in advance. When I went in mid to late March 2022, there were no public buses going to and from El Calafate into Los Glaciares National Park toward the glacier. I was told by my hostel I was staying at in El Calafate that I need to book transportation through a tour company. I stayed at Folk Hostel, by the way, in El Calafate, which I highly recommend if you're on a budget. They were so patient and answered my gazillion questions, and it was a breeze to make changes when I had delays and whatnot. But anyway, I did end up making an online booking for a shuttle to the glacier through a company called Civitatis. It was the most affordable option I found for about $25 round trip at the time I booked it, and they even gave me a free upgrade to be picked up directly from my hostel instead of me needing to meet them at the bus station. And you can find a link to that in the description. Tip number 2, bring cash. Once you get to the park's entrance, you'll need to get the tickets there. At the time that I visited, there was no way to get tickets online or in advance. I didn't see if paying with a card was an option at all. I just know that lines were long and the most streamlined transaction would be paying with Argentinian pesos. And that was about equivalent to $25 to enter. Tip number 3, bring layers. So I got very lucky that day and it wasn't super windy, as I've been warned, but it was still very cold and the breeze would pick up here and there, so I still highly recommend layers. Something to cover your ears and definitely some gloves. You'll be walking around and staying active, but you'll also be making plenty of stops along the way to admire the glacier and of course get those selfie shots in. So in my experience, I was not able to build up a sweat or even a little bit of heat despite the light activity. Tip number 4, bring lunch. Silly me, I totally forgot to bring lunch that day. I was gone for about 8 hours and somehow was okay without food. That is not normal for me, nor is it healthy, but I think I was too stoked on being there to notice. Clearly, there were a lot of views to distract me. There are a couple places where you can get food, but they are a bit pricey, lines will be long, and you'll have to walk all the way back to the entrance or exit, which isn't as convenient as having it ready in your pack and plopping down on a bench wherever you are and sit with those glacier views while you enjoy your meal, like somewhere around here. Tip number 5, well, not really a tip, but this will help you decide to book a tour or not to book a tour. So I personally was very happy with my experience and wouldn't change anything about it. During the hour and a half bus ride to the glacier, we had a multilingual guide in the bus with us who gave us a wonderful overview of the history and geology of the glacier, along with a rundown for what to expect once we got there and how to navigate the pathways, which is very easy, by the way. It would be difficult to get lost. So I didn't feel the need for a guide once I got to the glacier, but going at my own pace is also my personal preference. There are some great tours out there that I'd love to get you connected with if that's more your style. Feel free to shoot me a message through any of the platforms linked below. But speaking of other great tours around Perito Moreno Glacier, there are options to take a short cruise to get even closer up to the glacier or take a kayak if you want to do something a little more adventurous. And if you actually want to get on the glacier, that is an option as well with the guided ice trek tour. This is also if your budget permits. I know that adding some of these optional additional tours can range between $50 to $250 more if that sounds like something you'd like to do. But like I said, I was content with how far my dirt cheap budget got me. For about $50, I got my transportation and entrance covered, and I was in awe for hours just walking along those pathways. This is all I have for you now. I'm happy to answer any questions if you pop those in the comments below, or even help you plan your next adventure. When I'm not creating YouTube videos, I am a travel advisor, helping people plan their vacations, and I'm happy to work with any style and any budget. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next adventure.